Now, this is just me. These are my thoughts, right? But to me, slavery never ended. And I know it's a touchy subject, and just feel me on this. When I look back over what have all been done, when you think about it, all the murder, the lies, the history, all the stuff that has happened from marching protests and civil rights, segregation, you name it, NAACP, Black History Month. I asked myself, what's all true that they told us? And how much was lies? And you hear me say this a lot. We wasn't taught biblical history, right? So today, the celebration of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., quite a few things are closed. And I was riding and listening to the radio, and then I thought about where has slavery went now? Because it never left. You know what I call slavery? Penitentiary. There are a whole lot of innocent people also locked up in prison, a lot. The part they don't want to talk about. Prison is a business. And it's a reason when you say plantation, some of these jobs, why is it really called a plantation? Hard labor. And how so many private penitentiaries we have now, but you're talking about some cheap labor. And you got men slaving. You got women prisons. You got a business just like religion. That's slavery. So what you see is a different form. You may not see black folks hanging from trees no more, being lynched, water hose down, and taking a black woman and killing off the black man. I'm gonna just say murder, because what we see is really murder. A lot of murder that have went on back then. But mentally, there's a friend of mine, I call him Professor Freedom. And Professor Freedom have this saying where he says, take the chains off of your brain so your butt can follow, right? When I look at the NBA in so many ways, I see slavery. I still see the masters who are still running things. I see a lot of people in my race that have sold out. They making money, but it's still a form of slavery. But my main thing is the penitentiary. Now, don't get me wrong, you got people that have really done the crime and they doing the time. Some people that have been locked up for some stuff, they could have really been out a long time ago. But then you got those cold-blooded murderers, you got rapists, you got child molesters, et cetera, et cetera. But what I'm saying in this video is think about the system. That's slavery. And think about the innocent people that has been chained down in this system. Now think about how many people have been murdered in prison, the penitentiary. Now add the government in there. All this, I'm still talking about slavery. How much does it cost to house one inmate for a year? Why is there so much money given? Why is there so much money you see involved in the penitentiary? Or why is the government this, the government that? Things that you don't see. I used to have a friend of mine who was a warden in the penitentiary. He's retired now. And we would always talk about the way they shipping medicine in, the food that's being put out, the slavery that's really going on, how you'll see so many people innocent because some crooked police officer done planted drugs on somebody. It's a business. And I'm gonna add this in there. Slavery never ended, racism never ended, stereotyping never ended. So when you ask me my thoughts about slavery and whatever they came out with that said it was over and done with, really, did it ever leave? Because you still see a type of slavery in the mind. To be locked up in that mind prison, it's a terrible state to be in, family. So I just wanted to share this with you. I know a lot of people be talking about Martin Luther King this and Martin Luther King that, and the banks is closed and we got to celebrate it. We got to, but really, when y'all ask me, I get this question almost every year around this same time. JT, what do you think Martin Luther King would say if he was here right now? And you know what I tell people, I make them mad. I say he would have to go back to sleep and have another dream. Because the way black folks have been acting, the way black folks have been doing each other for so many years, let me ask you a question. Was it more black people on one accord back then or now? Was it more white people that was for Martin Luther King back then versus now? You give me your thoughts on that. And I got a whole lot I can say on this issue when it comes to talking about Martin Luther King, just like I can say about Malcolm X. But in reality, again, all this talking about getting equal, see, that's the problem with our people. We always been taught to be equal with a satanic system that was never designed for us. It was never designed for us. Everything we ever done, we got robbed for it. We got stole for it. What are you talking about, inventing things? If you really just break down who invented what, you'll see where credit went to somebody that didn't even design it, didn't even create it, and it was stole. Y'all know the history. But again, we was taught his story, not real history, especially when you talk about slavery. That's why when you see my page, you're going to see me talk about biblical slavery versus this American slavery, that history. All this mess about who discovered America and Christopher Columbus and Amerigo Vespucci. Man, you can miss me with all that mess. That's their story. But in reality and the truth, and biblically speaking, who are you and what are you? Who do you serve and what do you serve? What does the Bible say? What does the Bible say about slavery versus world history slavery? Shalom, family.